Liner out of coping. So we at Ask the Pool Guy used to have a Liner Mule advertised on the website, which we did find some success with, but it became hard to get them. So we discontinued going through the struggle of trying to stock them. So here is the question. What is the best way to put your liner back into your coping?
So, before the Liner Mule, which I personally didn't need because I have the technical skills on how to do it, but someone who'd never really done it before could use the Liner Mule and help pull it back up. You're right, we had an issue with getting them, but more importantly, we kept getting them returned because someone would use it once, get their liner back in and say, why do I need to spend this much money on it? And they would ship it back to us and we'd have to refund them the money. I can't remember how much they were, but they weren't cheap. And
Like a couple $100.
yeah, and I think that was the final decision for me was, well, let's not sell these if we're going to take the time to send them to people and they use them once, pull the liner back in and then send it back to us and want their money back. How we did it in the past and how I would still do it today without a Liner Mule is one of three ways. Drop the water level a little bit, depending on how much is out and how much of a smiley face you have there and how old the liner is, that's all going to play a factor. But hot water. So if I got to someone's home and there was a smiley that I just couldn't pull back in, because sometimes you can just pull them back in, what I would do if I couldn't just pull it back in is I would have the homeowner boil some water. Get the water steaming hot. They bring it out in a tea kettle. Now don't touch the tea kettle to the liner because you don't want to melt the liner, but you can pour it along the liner slowly and it'll soften up the liner enough to physically pull it back in place. That's one way of doing it. Again, be cautious that it's not too hot. Second way, if it's not a super big one, is you could take a hairdryer and work your way and you slowly heat up the liner with the hairdryer, and you might have to pull it in sections and heat it and pull it in sections, but again, don't get the hairdryer too close. The minute that the metal end of that hairdryer touches the liner, it's gonna burn the liner.
And don't drop
and
the
melt it.
hairdryer.
And certainly don't drop the hairdryer because you're talking about dealing with water. The third option is a paint sprayer hot air gun. So a lot of people scrape paint to get paint off the walls or whatever. They use a heat gun, and they use that heat gun with a scraper and they scrape the paint off. You can use that as well. Those typically have two settings. One's like 800 degrees, one's like 1600 degrees. It's really hot. With those, now you have, it's a little more complicated than the hairdryer because you have to be aware. You have to keep it away. If you get too close, you can easily burn through the liner, and if it's an older liner, it might just destroy on you. So either hot water or hot air are the best options. Emptying the pool all the way, not a good option, especially if the liner starts to shrink up. It might tear again when you go to put water back in. I have seen people do that. Can't get the liner in, so they drain the water out of the pool thinking it'll be easier. Well, it is, except for the liner shrinks once you take the pressure off of it, and then doesn't want to stretch back out when you put water back in. So
What if it's a tiny little section? Like, is there a way just to try to push it and snug it back in place by hand?
It's all, most of what I do is by hand, but you just got to understand, and you got to be able to get your fingers just right, and everybody who tries it can't believe that I could do it because it hurts your hand so bad, but you get used to doing it, and you literally have to grab the liner, figure out how to pinch it to be able to get that bead to bend a little, because you got to tuck that bead in, and you're right here. It's like right in front of you. You're bent over, and you keep hitting your knuckles against the underside. It's not like you have space to work. It's super tight, and you can't go like this or have two people doing it. It's got to be you. It's got to be you pulling up with one hand enough and trying to tuck with the other. And sometimes you might need a screwdriver, and you can pull up and you got to tuck it with the screwdriver again. Make sure you don't cut through the liner, because the edge of a screwdriver will go through a liner just like that. So there's that process, and sometimes you can pull up and you can slide pennies in there, and those pennies will hold it and you can work your way along. If you have a long one that's not real deep, not a big deal. Oftentimes you can even use your hand and rub the liner really hard with your hand, and it'll start heating up. You'll feel the liner starting to get soft, and you can pull it up and stretch it enough. But if it's one of these big old smileys that drops down 6 inches, you're going to need something. You're going to need more heat and more gut than just your fingers to do it. But it's a practice. It's not something I can teach. It's something I can show, and then you just got to practice over and over and over and over. And that's happened in 35 years. It's happened to me 100 times with different people working with me, going, "How did you do that? How did you do that? I couldn't get it to move. I couldn't do it." It's just, today I would call it old man muscle. My fingers have a certain strength for that, where they may not have a strength, something that you could do, but they certainly have a strength for that. And it's just over the years and years and years of doing it and understanding that motion and feeling it. It's a feel thing. I've just been able to, there hasn't been a liner I haven't been able to get back in. It's the process. But without that, you definitely need a heat source of some type. But you have to always be cautious not to overheat something.